How many of you start your morning with a bowl of cereal, a granola bar, a bagel, cream cheese, or a protein shake? Such as these. Ultra-processed foods, such as these breakfast cereals, pre-prepared snacks, breads, and other artificially flavored things, cause overeating and other health concerns. Everyone eats ultra-processed foods every day, but most don't know the health concerns associated with their consumption. As a conscious eater, I'm concerned about what I choose to put in my body, and I want to know what the best things to eat are for a long, healthy lifestyle. As a pre-medicine student and aspiring doctor, I want to know health concerns presented by such foods so that I can one day advise my patients of them. First, I'll define ultra-processed food and give you examples that you'd be familiar with. Second, I will explain how ultra-processed food causes overeating and other serious health concerns like cancer and heart disease. So, without further ado, ultra-processed food, what is it and what is it doing to your health? So you go to the grocery store to pick out snacks for you and your family. What do you choose? A bag of Doritos, a bottle of Gatorade, a DiGiorno's frozen pizza, a box of Cheerios? Now, have you ever thought about how those snacks made it to the grocery store and into your cart? They probably were processed on a conveyor belt somewhere, right? Well, let me tell you a little bit more about that process. The first step of food processing includes what you would imagine: collecting the grains from the field, slaughtering the animal, shelling the nuts. Next, the second step includes the process of making those foods cooked, frozen, and you may believe finished. But those special snacks get to take part in an extra special step where they are injected with artificial colors, sugars, flavors, and chemical preservatives. Those extra special foods are what we call ultra-processed food. The NOVA classification system defines ultra-processed foods as having ingredients predominantly found in industrial food manufacturing, such as hydrogenated oils, high fructose corn syrup, flavoring agents, and emulsifiers. We can identify these foods ourselves by looking at the nutrition labels. Professor Maria Bezrastrolo says that foods with greater than 5 ingredients are likely overprocessed. Also, she says we should look out for foods with high fat, sugar content, as well as those containing preservatives such as sodium benzoate, nitrate, and sulfite, BHA, and BHT. Also, think about this. Have you ever seen a commercial for organic bananas? Probably not, because highly marketed food items are usually criminals of ultra-processed food. So, name brands are typically another identifier of ultra-processed food. Now that you know a little bit more about ultra-processed food, let's talk about why it's so important that you know how to identify them. Ultra-processed food causes overeating and obesity. According to the journal BMJ, almost 60% of our calories come from ultra-processed foods. Moreover, these foods make up 90% of the added sugar in our diet. Based on these two statistics, it is no wonder that ultra-processed food causes overeating and obesity. The National Institute of Health conducted a study on 20 healthy adults, 10 female and 10 male, who stayed at their clinic for a month and were fed meals comprised of ultra-processed food and minimally processed food. Both meals contained the same amount of nutrients, but the volunteers were able to pick how many servings they wanted each day. At the end of the study, those who ate ultra-processed food meals had a greater caloric intake and weight gain. Since ultra-processed food is mainly composed of chemicals in the tertiary step of processing, they lack the protein-rich nutrients to feel full. This leads to consumers to feeling the need to take in greater amounts of food and gaining unwanted weight. Ultra-processed food is also more convenient and affordable for consumers. Frozen meals, deli meat, pre-sliced bread, and cereal are all popular for on-the-go families. They also come at fairly lower prices than minimally processed foods because their ingredients are economically profitable, as stated by Professor Bezrastrolo. Families have begun replacing their freshly prepared meals with more attractive ultra-processed foods, increasing their caloric intake and perpetuating overeating habits. As we all know, being overweight is also associated with more long-term health risks. Researchers have discovered a correlation between diets containing ultra-processed foods and serious health complications leading to early death. In the Sigmento Universidad de Navarra project, Professor Bezrastrolo collected data which found that greater consumption of ultra-processed food increased risk of death by 62%. Early death due to ultra-processed food consumption has been linked to both cardiovascular disease and cancer. A study by the University of Paris showed that an example of 100,000 people assessed over 5 years, the rate of cardiovascular disease was greater in the group who consumed more ultra-processed food than less. You can imagine why a diet composed of high fat and sugar ingredients and low hard healthy fibers led to such problems. Although it seems like nowadays everything causes cancer, there are enough studies linking the ultra-processed foods to the disease that could make you apprehensive. Even if foods do not cause cancer directly, they do induce habits such as smoking and obesity, which are correlated with the disease. Ultra-processed foods, though convenient and affordable, are not worth the dangerous health risks that may shorten your life. As a review, ultra-processed foods affect our health by inducing overeating habits, which also lead to more serious health complications. Frozen meals, prepackaged deli meats, cereals are all great options for on-the-go families, but they're not aware of how big brand food companies disguise their foods with attractive labels and low prices to disguise those dangerously low protein ingredients included in extensive processing from their products. Several studies have proven that chemical enhancers and preservatives of ultra-processed food are associated with overeating and obesity, which could lead to more serious health risks. So tomorrow morning, when you're looking through your fridge for something to eat, maybe consider a bowl of oatmeal instead of that box of Honey Nut Cheerios. You never know, this small early morning decision could save your life.
Well done.